Hey there, friends. Happy Saturday. I'm King 5 meteorologist Ashley Ruiz taking a deeper dive into the forecast for this sunny weekend. We have a second weekend in a row in January with no rain, and we'll have bright blue skies today. More clouds for our Sunday, but still going to be dry. In fact, today is day 12 of no measurable precipitation at Seattle's airport, so SEA Airport SeaTac, and the longest stretch of no measurable precipitation at SeaTac on a record for January's 15 days. That was back in 1963. So we are definitely going to hit that record, if not break that record. We could have a couple of sprinkles early in the week, which I'll show you and I'll talk all about coming up. But in the meantime, we're going to have a good amount of sunshine anywhere you go. We'll have some fog out there, patchy fog as you see, but this is as of 10 a.m. and you see above all that we have blue sky. The mountain is out, always a good sign on a weekend especially. So the second weekend in a row with no rain, sunshine, and it's going to be a nice day. You can kind of see visibility is not all too great, so you see the outline, the silhouette of the mountain off in the distance, but we have a beautiful day in store for us. This ridge that's just been keeping things very quiet, very dry, that is right back in place, and I'll show you in a second. But let's talk about these temperatures that we woke up to. Teens, 20s, pretty much area wide. The only 30s that we had at least part of the sensor readings, Friday Harbor at 31 degrees, but Olympia, the same temperature in Snoqualmie Pass. In fact, at Paradise, 20. So likely some little bit of an inversion in place, but then east of the Cascades, we had teens and 20s as well. So we have that ridge keeping things dry, keeping all weather systems to our west, or impactful weather systems and ones that could bring us precipitation to our west and then to our east. The jet stream taking a deep dive over much of the central portion of the United States, and that's why we have this significant winter storm starting up. It was already bringing a lot of snow, some ice to portions over the plains, and so this is just the start of it. And so over the last couple of hours across Texas, Louisiana, into the Ark-La-Miss region, into Middle Tennessee and pretty much all of Tennessee, all the way up to the Midwest, seeing some precipitation, winter precipitation, snow, ice, and then freezing rain. Again, this is just one round of it, and this is going to bring crippling impacts to our friends out east, especially where we get some of the greatest accumulations of ice, freezing rain, sleet, and that's going to lead to crippling conditions, likely going to have widespread power outages as well as downed trees, likely going to see major issues at airports as well. Where you see this purple, that's an ice storm warning, and that's for Texas, Louisiana, up into Mississippi and Middle Tennessee, as well as portions of the Carolinas. That pink is a winter storm warning stretching all the way from the Texas and Mexico border for some spots of Texas, all the way up into New England. And so these spots are going to get snow, also freezing rain, and then just ice in general. And then the extreme cold is stretching from Canada all the way down to the Gulf Coast. So we don't have any snow chances in our forecast for the lowlands especially, but up in the mountains, it's really not looking anything significant or all too promising, which I will also touch base on coming up. But let's talk about this weekend. Until we get some precipitation, enjoy the sunshine. It's going to be cool. It's going to be sunny today, but very cold tonight. We'll have increasing clouds Sunday. This ridge is going to back off a little bit, allowing for a weak disturbance to brush the region starting Sunday night and into Monday. So that's why we'll have increasing clouds. Something else to look forward to, not just the NFC Championship game. Our first 5 o'clock sunset is tomorrow. We're gaining about 2.5 minutes of daylight right now, but we'll start to rapidly gain that daylight as we get closer to the equinox on either side of the equinox. So Finally, the big dark is coming to an end. As for shower chances, not looking all too great. Monday, we could have a couple of coastal showers, sprinkles, but then into Tuesday, we're dry. This ridge builds once again, even if it's temporary. But then Wednesday and Thursday, that's when it looks as though we'll have a chance for showers. But the question is, how strong will this system be? How strong will this ridge still be as well? The models are not in agreement of how much rain we could get. In fact, we could have one front that could split over the area, and that would lead to us not getting the brunt of the precipitation, but there are chances. I am saying there's a chance. Now, there is a better chance potentially for us to get some more rain into next weekend, but you see how temperatures are coming up as well, so snow levels may not be all too low for us to work on our snowpack down to Snoqualmie Pass. Highs today in the low and mid 40s, below normal for much of us. And then tonight, as I mentioned, it's going to be very cold. Taking you up to the north, we'll have widespread 20s. You see in Bellingham around 23, Coopville 29, Marysville 26, and Linwood 27, Gold Bar 27, Issaquah 28, Auburn 28, and then Bainbridge Island around 27, Olympia 21, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Olympia in our typical really cold spots dropping back down into the upper teens, even if it's just for a couple of hours. Then we get closer to Oregon. You see mid and upper 20s all the way to the coast in the 30s and then 20s as well. Hood Canal in the lower 20s. So you get the picture there. It's going to be very, very cold. So make sure you take care of your pets. Please make sure you take care of them. As for tomorrow, we're not going to warm things up all too much. We'll have maybe some patchy fog to start, if not those icy spots. Increasing clouds, as I mentioned, as the day goes on, high clouds, and then highs in the 30s and 40s. So if you are going to go to the game or you're just going to walk around, tailgate, even if you're not going to the game, out ahead of the game and all of the celebrations, if you're going to start tailgating early, layers will be your friend. You will need them. Temperatures will be in the 20s, still in the 30s for much of the day. So much of our day we're in the 30s. But then by the afternoon, by kickoff, we may jump up to about 42, 43, and then the increasing clouds as the day goes on. So let's talk about it. Here's a look at the futurecast into Sunday. It's quiet for Saturday, so skipping right ahead to it. We have some high clouds, maybe some low clouds in the morning, but increasing clouds as the day goes on. You see a little bit of green trying to pop up on the futurecast. That's that one disturbance sending us more clouds and maybe a couple of raindrops closer to the coast. Then we get into Tuesday. I mentioned that ridge. Then we get into Wednesday. So Tuesday will be quiet. We'll likely have a mix of sun and clouds. Wednesday, the European model is showing the potential for us to get that one system moving in, but the bulk of the rain staying to the west of us. And then into Thursday, you see more showers out there, but notice up in the mountains, you're seeing more pink versus the purple. That means maybe rain and snow mix or freezing rain, so the majority of it may be rain, not any frozen precipitation. But as the weekend goes on, or as the week goes on and we get into the weekend, maybe snow levels come down. But once again, it is not looking very promising by any means. This is a look at the forecast for the Cascade Passes, so the temperatures really for Snoqualmie Pass, just to give you an idea. We'll have sunshine, a little bit of fog out there this morning. That should lift, and then same for Sunday into Monday, generally on the cloudy side, maybe a couple of flurries out there and taking you to Snoqualmie Pass. And it looks like either we have maybe some flurries flying. If not, that's probably just some of the precipitation melting, maybe if we have a little bit of that snow. But yesterday morning, we had a beautiful dusting on the trees. This morning, you see how the low clouds are starting to mix out and lift. Also, in terms of our ski resorts, I had a few people asking me, well, how are they looking? Well, not so great. Make sure you check in with any of the ski resorts before heading out, because there will likely be some ski operations that are, or any of the slopes that may be closed because of the lack of snowpack because the base depth is, as of this morning from their websites, not too great. Stevens Pass 43 inches, and again, this is the base depth. So Snoqualmie Pass only about 30 inches, and Crystal 22 to about 42, and even Mount Baker on the low side. And showing you just that, this is the snow water equivalent, and it's showing us basically the percent of normal and where we should be this time of year. All of that red that you see, that is below 50% of where we should be. And I'll zoom in and show you that. So the North Cascades and portions of the eastern slopes above that 50% threshold, doing a little better, but you see most of the western slopes of the Cascades and much of the Cascades in general and the Olympics are below that 50% threshold of where we should be this time of year. And this is the time of year where we should be working on our snowpack. There's still that chance heading into February that we get a good weather pattern flip, but for now it's just not looking like we're going to work on that snowpack, at least especially not at our lower elevations. Our snow levels will be low, but we're not going to have precipitation to go along with that. So essentially this is more freezing levels. Freezing levels are typically 1,500 feet above this number that you see here. These are the snow levels, but once again, we won't have any moisture to really deal with. But once we get some of these systems rolling in, even if there's not a lot of moisture for these systems to tap into, we could still get a couple of inches at some of the higher elevations perhaps, but then next weekend our snow levels could come up. And showing you the potential for snow totals through Wednesday, you see maybe a dusting closer to Mount Rainier, but that's it. Then we get into later in the week when we have that better chance for more precipitation to come into the state. But as you see, still not a lot. Maybe up at Baker typically gets more than all of the other lower ski resorts and slopes. But again, either way, still not looking great. Now, that could change because again, we still have a week to watch for this. But we'll keep you posted on how everything's going. You can count on us to keep you posted on air, online. But once again, until we get some of this meaningful precipitation, soak it up because we still have plenty of winter to get through. So another weekend with sunshine, cold sunshine, but again, into our Sunday, we'll have high clouds starting to stream through. Tonight's cold, tomorrow night's cold, and then our mornings will get a little milder. Our days will as well, and we'll have more clouds as we head into the middle half of next week.